Very nearly 50 years of astonishing space examination. NASA's Adventure test faced an essential breakdown, jeopardizing its huge highway. A gathering of unbelievable scientists and experts was gathered by NASA to play out a precise system update and set Traveler 1 on its course. As of now, something impossible to miss just happened. Later, the fulfillment of the system update that has unnerved analysts across the world. What staggering exposure did NASA find in the system? As of late handled data, could this be confirmation of extraterrestrials? We ought to sort out what happened after Traveler 1 got a programming update 15 billion miles away in space. Picture the farthest man-made spaceship from Earth experiencing a misfire with no ongoing playbook for settling the issue. This was unequivocally the situation looked by NASA, inciting them to devise an impressive plan. NASA conveyed an undertaking posting for developers with an express scope of capacities. These product engineers must be expert in Fortran and assembly, two programming languages from the 1940s and 1950s that are new to most recent graduates. NASA formed a group of scientists endowed with a comprehensive overhaul of Pilgrim 1's structure. As far as possible from its location 15 billion miles away. Throughout the span of half a month, the group led extensive examination and remaking, considering the remarkable changes that had been made to Pioneer 1 since its dispatch in the 1970s. In the wake of finishing the update, NASA scientists made an astounding revelation. An overlooked arrangement of data that the test hadn't sent in years. Something impossible to miss basically happened later. Voyager 1 got a programming update 15 billion miles away. However, to definitively see the way that this could happen, we need to see some setting. During the 1960s, an uncommon suggestion surfaced. A tempting drive to embrace a fabulous mission across various planets, meandering into the strange areas of the external planets arranged in the tremendous region of our nearby planet group. This intense undertaking, appropriately named the Excellent Visit, hoped to dispatch computerized tests to investigate Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and even Pluto. What made this course of action truly pivotal was the irregular arrangement of these planets. A novel occasion that would grace the universe in the last part of the 1970s and not rehash for a scope of 176 years. Taking advantage of this great course of action, the TN Pioneer transport, Pioneer 1, and Traveler 2 were triumphantly dispatched in 1977. The point was to utilize the gravitational force of Jupiter as a slingshot, leading them on an extended course to the outer spaces of our planetary group. At first, the essential focus of the bus was to unravel the secrets of Jupiter and Saturn. However, their amazing revelations constrained the extension of their central mission limits. With newfound resolve, Pioneer 2 set out on a vital journey, meandering further into space to investigate Uranus and Neptune, in unprecedented achievements that stay unrivaled by some other transport to date. Innovative regulator programming favored the Wayfarer tests with improved capacities, surpassing their original purposes over time. Pioneer 1 and Pioneer 2 set out on a sublime odyssey, including the examination of each of the major outer planets of our planetary group, carefully examining for 8 of their fascinating moons and unraveling the many systems of rings and attractive fields that these superb beasts have. In December 1977, Adventure 2 ventured into the space rock belt, with Adventure 1 following at a swifter speed, overshadowing its buddy 9 days later. February 1998 denoted a grand accomplishment for Traveler 1 as it outperformed Trailblazer 10, becoming the most far-off human-made object in the vast territory of space. In 2002, Explorer 1 departed from the in-planet bunch, moving over the ecliptic plane at a striking point of 35 degrees, impelled forward at a shocking rate of 39,000 miles per hour. Wayfarer 2, then again, charted a disparate way, dipping under the ecliptic plane, progressing forward at a great point of 48 degrees and an amazing speed of 3,450 miles per hour. Adventurer 2 cases the record of arriving at additional planets than some other making of a man-made test. In the interim, Pioneer 1 proudly runs as the most challenging explorer from Earth, wandering further from its starting place than some other explorer. Incredibly, both Wayfarer 1 and Traveler 2 finished up their examination of the outer planets within the initial 12 years of their momentous mission. Having fulfilled their primary goals by 1989, these brave adventurers stood ready to set out on another chapter, exploring spaces beyond the limits of our planetary bunch. In January 1990, with their sights set on objects a long ways beyond the inner planet bunch, the mission's undertaking was fittingly changed to the Voyager interstellar mission. Hence, these courageous travelers wandered into bizarre regions where no identifiable creation has at any point taken off. Wayfarer 1 is no conventional transport. It is an exceptional showcase of the cleverness of NASA's splendid engineers. Defying the relentless entry of time, created with unmatched precision, this interstellar pioneer boasts a noteworthy array of highlights that have worked with its venture through the universe for nearly 50 years. Among its many striking credits is its robust radio communication framework, painstakingly intended to work even beyond the heavenly furthest reaches of our inner planet group. At its center lies a titanic 37 high, gain CAG grain radio receiving antenna, filling in as the principal channel for sending and getting radio waves spanning the vast distance between Wayfarer 1 and our home planet through the deep space network stations. When direct correspondence becomes illogical, EXP Traveler 1 depends upon its dependable advanced recording device, DTR, fit for putting away approximately 67 megabits of information for subsequent transmission. To put this achievement into viewpoint, signals from Pioneer 1, starting around 2023, go through a stunning 22-hour excursion through the depths of space to arrive at Earth. A moving showing of the vastness of the universe. Equipped with sophisticated cameras, Wayfarer 1 can capture divine miracles, deifying far-off planets, their fascinating moons, and spaces beyond. Curiously, these apparent light cameras work under the guidance of an imaging limit table, carefully put away inside one of the rocket's advanced computer parts. While Pioneer 1's camera framework depends on predetermined directions, it is imperative that more contemporary space tests, developed from the 1990s onwards, have adopted fully independent camera frameworks, digressing from the custom. Traveler 1 depends on its clever computer order framework, CCS, to coordinate its tasks. A wonder of 1970s innovation that controls multiple shuttle capacities, including order interpreting, fault detection schedules, radio wire pointing schedules, and space apparatus sequencing schedules. An updated version of the CCS, initially utilized during the 1970s Viking orbiters, it remains as a demonstration of the persevering force of robust engineering. Before we examine what simply occurred later, Wayfarer 1 got a product update. You would have to sort out what's behind the lifespan of Pioneer 1. What represented the progress of the Wayfarer tests? As you would anticipate, Adventurer 1 and Traveler 2 transport were outfitted with an astonishing cluster of particular logical instruments containing Intel suites and subsystems, which represents the lifespan of the tests. Just a small bunch of instruments keeps on working on board these daring explorers. One of the surviving instruments that functional on both Traveler 1 and Adventurer 2 is the low-energy charged particle locator. This uncommon device, furnished with 3 arrangements of particle sensors, examines particles and determines their speed by enthusiastically examining pretentious radiation and particles transmitting from the Sun, planets, and interstellar space. This marker gives significant pieces of information into the association and lead of these grandiose substances. Meandering further into the spaces of tremendous solicitation, both Pioneer tests are outfitted with a large bar instrument. This instrument, with its astounding ability to recognize significantly fiery particles originating from the Sun and other enormous sources, now serves a fundamental work. It measures the flood of particles inside the protective air pocket of our Sun's effect, as well as those originating from interstellar space. These readings go about as critical markers for scientists, helping them pinpoint the specific moment when Wayfarer 1 vented into the huge field of interstellar space. Another critical instrument that works on both Wayfarer 1 and Wayfarer 2 is the plasma wave subsystem. Using its 2 extended getting wires, which stretch out at right angles to one another, this subsystem constantly measures the electrical field portions of potential waves experienced during the test processes. Initially wanted to focus on these eccentricities on the outer planets, the instrument has now assumed the job of disentangling the secrets of plasma wave AVs as they overrun interstellar space. Its dynamic commitment in the 2 rockets guarantees an overflow of information for analysts to explore and get a handle on. The magnetometer, at first entrusted with investigating the attractive fields of the outer planets, has now advanced into another domain of logical request. Its essential objective is to test the progress region between the interplanetary and interstellar media by examining the attractive characteristics at the limit where the Sun's attractive effect gives way to the attractive field of interstellar space. This instrument sheds light on the confounded collaboration between these galactic powers. Two celebrated instruments, Wayfarer 1 and Wayfarer 2, keep on depending on the plasma science instrument for urgent information acquiring. This instrument relentlessly looks out the most minimal energy particles inside plasma, while additionally having the ability to perceive particles moving at explicit velocities. Other than partially, it can learn the direction from which these particles begin. As the van sets out on its interstellar stay, the bits of knowledge given by this instrument turn out to be progressively critical. While a few instruments have surrendered to the attacks of time or have been intentionally deactivated to save power, the determined endeavors of the Wayfarer group endure. Trifling instruments were permanently shut down in 1998, 21 years after the underlying dispatch, in a bid to save assets. Moreover, NASA has methodically deactivated radiators on the two transports as a component of their power-saving strategy. The power hotspot for every Wayfarer create lives in a gathering of 3 radioisotope thermoelectric generators, RTGs. These bewildering gadgets infer their power from the rot of radioactive plutonium-238, changing intensity energy into power. However, as the plutonium-238 keeps on rotting, a period will come when it can never again uphold the instrument's power prerequisites, bringing about the suspension of all logical activities. While this unavoidable power decline is projected to happen around 2025, the Wayfarer group tries to expand the life expectancy of both space mechanical assembly until 2027. This date holds incredible importance as it denotes the 50th commemoration of their significant dispatch. To guarantee consistent correspondence with Earth, every Wayfarer test is furnished with a couple of motors. These motors, though not intended for drive, assume a significant part in reorienting the bus, ensuring that their receiving wires reliably highlight our home planet by sending brief but precise heartbeats or puffs, enduring simple milliseconds. What late error has gotten the consideration of specialists, and for what reason did NASA choose a product update? Lately, the well-known Pioneer 1 transport has encountered a progression of upsetting challenges that undermine its very presence. One of the squeezing concerns that have arisen is the occurrence of confounded or corrupted telemetry information. As Wayfarer 1 navigates immense distances, it depends on sending essential information back to Earth to keep scientists informed of its progress. However, on several occasions, the telemetry data has arrived in a distorted and confused form, leaving scientists wrestling with the daunting task of unraveling its proper meaning. This idiosyncrasy has posed a significant obstacle in figuring out the space vehicle's current status and the environment it encounters on its interstellar journey. Intensifying these communication challenges are the signs of aging and decay that have appeared within Pioneer 1's motors. These crucial engines, responsible for reorienting the van and ensuring its antenna stays pointed towards Earth, have started to show signs of wear and malfunction. As the motors waver, the delicate balance needed to maintain constant communication with our planet becomes increasingly uncertain. The gamble of losing the ability to get crucial data from Voyager 1 weighs negatively, potentially cutting off our association with this inspiring courier of investigation.